This is how you can create your own custom fonts that you can actually use in your own custom designs and products that you sell without having to worry about copyright or commercial use restrictions. And we're going to do all of this just using our iPads. I love a good DIY, especially when it's something that is going to save you money in the long run and also gives you the satisfaction of being self-sufficient, and making your own font is one of my favorite ones. It's one of those skills that is going to level up everything that you create. In this video, we are going to use the Fontself app for the iPad. And I'll walk you through the whole process of turning your hand lettering into a usable font. And that's going to include creating your basic uppercase and lowercase letters, as well as numbers and some basic symbols as well. And then I'll show you how you can export your font so you can start using it in your designs. So let's get into it, and I'll start off by introducing you to this app if you've never used it before. But if you just want to get started on making the font, choose from the timestamps below so you can skip any of the information that you don't need. We are using the Fontself app for iPad, which is designed specifically to help you turn your hand-drawn lettering into a real usable font, no desktop software required. Fontself works by letting you draw each individual glyph that will be assigned to each letter of the alphabet. Things like letters, numbers, and symbols. Once these glyphs are assigned to the correct characters, Fontself packages everything into a font file that you can export and use in other apps. When you first open Fontself, you'll see options to create a new font project or open an existing one. Each project is where all of your characters live, so think of this as your font workspace. The interface is really simple. You'll create each character one at a time, assign it to the correct letter, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, or symbols, and gradually build out your full character set. And don't worry about making everything perfect at this stage. Right now, it's just learning how to understand how the app works and how what you create turns into a font, because once that clicks, the whole rest of the process feels like anything else you've made. Just something that you create, export, and then use in real life. Simple as that. And I am not sponsored by Fontself. I genuinely use this software, and this is just my honest opinion, but the $19.99 that I spent to buy this app is totally worth it. It's not a subscription. This is a one-time purchase with optional in-app purchases if you are planning on using custom type for any projects that you are selling online. It can be way cheaper than purchasing a font for commercial use. So whether it's for designing your own logo or designing your own products to sell online, or even just creating a font to sell on its own, this app is probably going to pay for itself in the long run. And next we're going to start making our font, I promise. But before we get into that, I just wanted to clear up a really common concern when it comes to fonts and licensing. When you create a font on Fontself, you own that font. The letter forms are your original artwork, which means you are free to use this font for your personal projects, any client work, or products that you sell. You're not dealing with any commercial use restrictions or attribution requirements or licensing fine print like you would with downloaded fonts you got from the internet, because this font is yours. Of course, you want to make sure that you are creating original lettering. You are not tracing anything that you found online or a really popular font or like something that is recognizable. You want to make sure that it is your original artwork. So as long as these are your own original designs, you are in the clear. This is the biggest reason I love teaching this process. It gives you full creative freedom and peace of mind when you're using your lettering in real world projects. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and make our font and learn this software at the same time. From the home screen, choose any of the templates from the templates row to get started. We're going to choose the hand template and make a font using our own unique handwriting before we try hand-drawn letter forms. Once you open a template and start making a font, it auto-saves and will live on the home screen, fully editable for whenever you want to work on it. This interface has a lot going on, but it is very simple. If you just want to start making the font, skip to the next timestamp, but I'm going to go over a few key features that will help you on your way. This panel here is your previewer, so you can see how your font looks using the typical phrase, "the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog." And if you don't know why they always use that sentence, it's just because it uses every letter of the alphabet. And then the space below here are the grids where you draw in your glyph for each letter of the alphabet. And using 2 fingers to drag, you can fill in each uppercase and lowercase letters, punctuation, and other symbols. Across the top, tap on the gear icon for settings. From here, you can turn on the template characters and customize the grid by removing guides, adding cells, or even adding a bulleted grid. I like to turn off draw with finger so it doesn't pick up any of my touch, especially because I always try to drag with 1 finger by accident and it thinks I'm writing. And then these 2 arrows are going to be important to undo or redo, but you can also undo with a 2-finger tap, just like Procreate. This arrow is the selector tool, and you use it by creating a box over whatever you want to isolate and select. And then the paintbrush is how you actually write your letters. And then the eraser can be used to isolate small areas to remove. And they each have a menu that you can open up and change their size and appearance. The wrench icon is where you can change the settings for your final font, like the letter spacing and kerning. Spacing controls how far your letters sit from each other by default, and kerning is more specific. Kerning adjusts the spacing between letter pairs. Once you make your font and test it out, you can adjust any of these settings to achieve the look that you're going for. And of course, this little icon of the box with the arrow is the export tool. This is how you export it into an OTF file to install into any program that uses that for their fonts. So pretty much all of the programs as far as I know. But more than that, you can install the font, which will install it directly into your iPad to use on apps like Keynote, Pages, or GoodNotes. You can also save it as a template to use for later. Type and Showcase will generate images for you, like what is used for selling the font. Then down the side, the gear icon here, which I thought it was kind of funny, they have 2 gear icons for 2 different spots, but this changes the settings of your previewer panel here. The globe icon allows you to choose your language, customize which categories you want, and you can even choose the basic range of glyphs or extend it from 87 basic glyphs to 134 glyphs, which will give you a pretty big range for your font. And then you can skip through them by tapping on the categories icon. And then this little picture icon here allows you to import a photo. Imported photos can be used as a tracing guide. You're not importing a finished letter automatically. You still need to use Fontself's tools to create the glyph and assign it to that letter. And when you're ready to remove the photo you imported, just tap on the photo icon again and then tap the crossed arrows to select it and then trash can it. So now that we understand what we're looking at, let's go ahead and draw or write in our glyphs. For your first font project, I highly recommend just using your natural handwriting. It's going to be a great first project and it's definitely going to be unique to you. So this is an exaggerated form of my natural handwriting. I'm not a proficient calligrapher, but you can still make a really cool looking font with just your handwriting and the default brush settings. So I'm just writing in each uppercase letter, but with letters with similar forms like O and Q. I'm going to select the O by using the arrow selector tool and then drag it over the O and then tap on the 2 pieces of paper to copy it. Then I will select the Q grid and then tap and hold to get the paste to pop up and then paste it in. This is going to give me the consistency of my letter forms, and people like to have that sort of consistency because it kind of makes it feel like a more professional font. When you're drawing in each glyph, you'll notice these horizontal guidelines. These guides help define where your letters sit vertically, so your font doesn't feel jumpy or uneven when you type with it. Most of your letters should sit between the baseline and the main height line. This keeps everything aligned when the font is used in real words and sentences. Letters like B, D, H, and L naturally extend upwards, and letters like G, J, P, and Y extend downward. That's normal, and that's why these guides are helpful. You don't need to hit the guides perfectly, but you do want to be consistent. If one letter goes higher or lower than the others, it will stand out when you're typing. If you ignore the guides completely, your font can still work, but it might feel messy or hard to read when letters sit next to each other. The guides help you feel more professional, But if you're making a playful, hand-drawn, or decorative font, you can absolutely bend the rules. Fonts don't need to be rigid to be usable, they just need to be consistent. Your lowercase letters don't need to perfectly match your uppercase ones, but they should feel like they belong in the same family. And if you have kind of a distinctive O like me, you can even copy and paste the O from the uppercase letters and put it into the lowercase letters, and then just use the selector tool to reduce the size. And once you've completed all of the uppercase and lowercase letters, you can absolutely stop here and export your font and start using it. But if you want to go a step further, you can add the numbers and some common symbols. Things like periods, commas, colons, semicolons, quotes, parentheses, all of the fun stuff. These are great additions, but you don't have to do all of them right now. The great part about Fontself is that this is a project that can grow over time and is always going to be there when you can go back and add them again later. But once you have all of the glyphs that you want for your font, you can review the spacing and kerning and make any adjustments that you want. But if you like how your font looks in the previewer, you can 100% go ahead and export it and start using it now. But if you want to take a little more care and make this more of a professional font, here's what you do. Tap on the wrench icon, and from here you can make adjustments to the spacing and kerning to your font as a whole, and you can even expand this and adjust these finer metrics as well. You can also tap on spacing or kerning under manual glyph metrics and review all of these letter combinations and decide if you want to create any space between specific letter combos. I also just like to make sure all the letters look okay, especially the lowercase letters, making sure I didn't make them too tall, for example. Now, before we export our font, we have to give it a name. That will make it a lot easier to find your font in a big list of fonts, so let's go ahead and make sure we do that first. Tap on the wrench icon again for the font settings, and then tap on info. From here, you can name it, just be sure it's original and unique. Additionally, you can add all the metadata for your font. If you plan on sharing or selling this font, you'll definitely want to fill this out. Enter your information as the maker and the copyright information. And then for the licensing, choose how you would like to allow others to use this. Popular ones are personal use only, free for personal and commercial use, commercial license required, and then you can do something like custom license and then see website. The license website is just a link to wherever you explain the font's usage terms. This doesn't have to be fancy, it just needs to exist if your license refers to one. And I'm not a copyright lawyer. I am not suggesting that you do any of these. You need to decide what is right for you and the font that you made, but these are just common ones that you can choose from. So once you're happy with everything, you are ready to export your font. So let's go ahead and do that now. Fontself is going to package everything into a font file that you can use in all of the apps and all of the other programs. After you export your font into an OTF file, you can import it into any program that uses that type of file, but let's also see how you can import it into Procreate. So tap on the export button and then choose Procreate, and then it will just automatically import that into Procreate for you. To use your font while in a canvas in Procreate, tap on the wrench for the Actions tab, and then tap on Add Text. Then tap on Edit Style, and then find the font that you made. You can easily search for it by name, since this list is in alphabetical order. And once you find it, select it and go ahead and use it. Our first font is not meant to be perfect. It's just meant to exist and to prove to you that you can totally do it. Now that you know how to make fonts, you can take these skills and make beautifully designed fonts and use them in so many different projects. There are so many applications for the new fonts that you make. I personally do use my fonts in the products that I make and sell online, coloring books or t-shirts or anything that you need to use a font for. Like how I use it in this video, where I use it to make my own coloring book cover. Having my own font came in really handy, so go ahead and click into that video and see how I do it.